What's up, badass Black Desert Mobile fans? It's Legit back with another video, and this time we're going to be covering the Awakened ArchMage and the Ascended ArchMagician. It can get a little confusing, hang tight. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you check out the description down below for some additional badass Black Desert Mobile content. You won't be disappointed. Before we get into the material, I want to give a shout out to BadBianca and Skybolt for helping me get the material for this video. The main hand weapon and the offhand weapon for the ArchMage, the Awakened form, is an Adhorn and a Tome. For the Ascension, it stays a staff and a dagger. So it's an Adhorn and a Tome is what it switches to. With that being said, let's dive right in. The first skill for the Magician is Arcane Bolts. It comes with 2 charges on a 5-second cooldown time. It hits 140% damage per hit with 5 hits, which is 700% damage. If you hold the skill button in, it consecutively attacks, and it does have 1 max on piercing attacks. For its substats, it increases your AP by plus 20 for 10 seconds on first hit. It reduces the target's movement speed by negative 15% for 10 seconds. That's huge. And then for the last sub-skill, it gives you 1 additional charge on its skill, taking it from 2 additional charges to 3. The Mage's first skill is called Lightning Flow. You get 1 charge with a 4-second cooldown time. It does 762% damage, so slightly more damage than the previous skill for the Magician. For its sub-skills, it increases your crit chance by 5% for 10 seconds, and it inflicts a bleed of 60 damage per second for 3 seconds, which is a total of 180 damage. The Magician's second skill is Fireball. It's relatively similar to what it was before. It's giving you 2 charges on a 4-second cooldown time. It does 325% damage per hit with a maximum of 2 attacks. It also has a maximum of 1 piercing attack. It inflicts a knockback on hit. Similar to its previous skill, if you hold the button in, it does consecutively attack, and it has a knockdown on the last hit. You can actually see that right here. I'll show you it. And it knocks him down on that last hit. If you just tap the button, it just knocks him back. So you want to make sure you hold the button in for the full effect and the knockdown. Its second sub-skill is negative 20 DP on target for 10 seconds. And then its third substat is inflicting a bird damage of 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is a total of 180 damage. Quake Burst is the Mage's second skill. It comes with 1 charge on an 8-second cooldown time. It does 275% damage times 4, which is 1,100% damage. You do get super armor while using this. It has a knock up on successful hit. For its sub-skills, it decreases the target's DP by negative 20 for 10 seconds, and it has a 10% increased range on the skill. It does have medium range with this skill. It is an AoE skill, so it does hit all those targets in front of you, and it does knock them up. Frosty Pillars comes in as the third skill for the Magician. You get 1 charge with a 7-second cooldown time. It does 625% damage times 2, which is 1,250% damage. You get super armor while casting, except for in the arenas, and it inflicts a freeze on hit. For its first sub-skill, it increases your AP and your allies' AP around you by plus 10 for 10 seconds upon using the skill, which is pretty sweet. For a second sub-skill, it grants you 1 additional charge to the skill, taking you from having 1 charges to 2 charges on that skill. For the Mage's third skill, we have Discharge. It comes in with 1 charge on a 4-second cooldown time. It does inflict knockback on successful hit. It does 344% damage times 4, which is 1,376% total damage. For its sub-skills, it increases the attack range of this skill by 10%. And it reduces the target's movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds. Frigid Fog is one of the strongest skills for the Magician. It comes in with 1 charge on a 5-second cooldown time. It does 620% damage times 2, which is 1,240% total damage. Grants super armor while using the skill. Inflicts a freeze on hit. It's just an overall good skill for PvP and PvE. It's just a huge, AoE damage. For its sub-skills, it reduces the target's attack speed by negative 5% for 10 seconds. It does increase its range by 10%. And for its third sub-skill, it recovers 60 HP of yourself and your allies every 2 seconds for a total of 10 seconds upon landing a successful hit, which is 300 HP recovered to you and all of your allies. So that is another awesome skill that helps the team. Electronic Guard is the Mage's next skill, coming in with 1 charge on a 13-second cooldown time. It does 524% damage times 2, which is 1,050% total damage. It applies a knockback on successful hit. For its sub-skills, it's adding plus 20 AP, which is attack power for 10 seconds to you, and it decreases your target's attack speed by 5% for 10 seconds. Firestorm is the sweetest looking addition to the Magician. You get one charge on a 7-second cooldown time. Does 240% damage per hit with a maximum of 5 hits, which is just under 1200% total damage. Grants super armor while using a skill. You cannot be grabbed while using a skill either because you're stealth. It inflicts a knockback on while moving, and it inflicts bound on last hit. For its sub-skills, it applies a burn of 60 damage every second for 3 seconds for a total of 180 damage. Grants plus 5% movement speed for 10 seconds upon yourself and your allies upon landing a hit. So this is another one that helps the allies. The Magician is really big about helping out the team. So that is Firestorm. Crack Wave is the Mage's next skill. Comes in with one charge on a 6-second cooldown time. Does 283% damage times 5, which is 1,415% total damage. You do get super armor while using the skill, and it inflicts a knock-up on successful hit. For its sub-skills, it increases your attack power by plus 20 for 10 seconds. It decreases the target's movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds. And this is also your heal, however, it does not heal your allies. It heals you 80 HP recovery per hit, does not work in Path of Glory. Ignite is a nice skill if there is mobs or other players on top of you. It does do one charge with an 8-second cooldown time. It does 900% damage per hit. You are invincible while casting. It grants super armor while attacking, and it inflicts knock-up on successful hit. For its sub-skills, it decreases the target's AP by 20 for 10 seconds, reduces the skill cooldown time by 2 seconds of the skill, taking it from 8 seconds to 6-second cooldown time, and then you do get one additional charge of the skill for his last skill. Now, the problem with the skill is, if you notice, when I demonstrated on this target right here, it completely misses him. It doesn't hit him at all. So there is a short range on this skill. It does hit everything around you, but the mobs or the targets really got to be right on top of you for that to be a successful hit. Electric Wave comes in with one charge on a 7-second cooldown time. Does 465% damage times 3, which is 1,400% total damage. You get super armor while using the skill, and it has a knockback on successful hit. It does also have up to 2 attacks. For its sub-skills, it grants you one additional charge to the skill, taking it from 1 to 2 total initial charges. Decreases the target's defensive power by -20 for 10 seconds. It also has a special skill effect. It's called Polar Electric. If you hold the skill button in, it instantly teleports to the target, which will allow you to help close the gaps on targets so you can continue to stun and do damage. Tornado definitely got some tweaks from the Witch to the Magician. You get one charge on a 7-second cooldown time. Does 242% damage per hit, which is like 980% total damage with a max of 4 hits. It does apply a knock-up on hit. For its first sub-skill, it grants one extra hit. For its second sub-skill, it grants one extra charge. For its third sub-skill, it is getting you 10% increased attack range. This skill is pretty good for grinding and PvP, as it offers that knockback. It is much quicker, and it has a broader range than what it had before, so that is very nice. Lightning Burst is a huge AoE skill. You get one charge with a 6-second cooldown time. Does 330% damage times 5, which is 1,650% damage. You get super armor while using the skill. Has a stun on successful hit. For its sub-skills, it has a burn on target of 60 damage per second for 3 seconds, which is 180 damage. For its second sub-skill, it gives you one additional charge to the skill, taking it from 1 to 2 initial charges. For its third sub-skill, it decreases the target's attack power by -20 for 10 seconds. Meteor Shower definitely got some tweaks as well. It definitely doesn't feel like it hits as hard when you get hit by this bad boy, so that's pretty nice. It does offer one charge with a 13-second cooldown time. It does 428% damage times 4, which is like 1,700% total damage. Grants super armor while using the skill, except for in arenas, and it inflicts a bound on hit, so knockdown. It does offer this lava zone, which grants 20% increased damage to anybody that's in that Meteor Shower zone when it hits, which does give a maximum of 5 hits to anybody in that zone as well. For a second sub-skill, it reduces the skill cooldown time by 3 seconds, taking it from a 13-second cooldown time to a 10-second cooldown time. And then for its last sub-skill, it burns a target of 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is a total of 180 damage. Electronic Light is the next skill for the mage. She just like snaps her wrist there and it instant stuns the target. It's a very fast casting spell. It does have one charge with a 6-second cooldown time. It does 1045% damage. It does stun the target. For its sub-skill, it does reduce the target's defensive power by -20 for 10 seconds. This skill is going to be great for PvP in smaller areas, not very good for grinding. Arcane Burst comes in with one charge on a 7-second cooldown time. Does 576% damage times 2, which is a little over 1150% damage. It does inflict a bound on hit, so it does that knockdown, as you can see there. For its sub-skills, it reduces the target's movement speed by -15% for 10 seconds. It does also grant one additional charge to the skill, taking it from 1 to 2 initial charges. And it increases your total attack by +20 for 10 seconds. And then for its fourth sub-skill, it actually increases the attack range by +10%. Lightning Bolt for the mage comes with one charge on a 10-second cooldown time. Does 585% damage. You're invincible while using. You have a knockdown on successful hit. For its sub-skills, it increases your movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds. It increases your defensive power by +20 for 10 seconds. And it reduces the cooldown time on that skill by 2 seconds, taking that skill from a 10-second cast to an 8-second cast. This skill is great for pretty much all scenarios, as it does do AoE damage. You are invincible, and it does have decent movement on it. The ultimate for the mage is just nasty. You get one charge. It does 400% damage times 4, which is 1600% damage. You get super armor while using. It has a knockdown on successful hit. It's got decent range and a huge radius. It creates this overcurrent zone at the location, which increases 20% damage to any target inside of that zone. And it's just a beefy AoE spell, as you can see there. So this is just great for mass PvP, farming, grinding, solo arenas, you name it, it's an awesome skill. The Magician's level 70 healing skill recovers 1000 HP to yourself and your allies, heals 100 HP every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, grants 50% increased defense for 30 seconds, and reduces your evasion by 2 seconds. It also increases your critical hit damage by 10% for 30 seconds, and your Black Spear Rage by 2% for 30 seconds. The Mage's heal, you get one charge, 120-second cooldown time. It heals you for 200 HP every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, which is a total of 1000 HP healed. It increases your movement speed by 10% for 30 seconds, your attack power by +40 for 30 seconds, your critical hit damage by 10%, and your Black Spirit Rage increase 2% for 30 seconds as well. The last skill that the mage has, it's called TT the Lightning Summoner. And what this is, it's like this pretty big lightning creature that you can summon and follows you around and helps kill mobs and just helps do additional damage. He does have a skill. It doesn't here show any damage or anything. I can't find anything as far as what he does. I will look into that and we'll make a full ArchMage guide once I get some more information on him. He is pretty sweet little sidekick. That's everything for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, you should think about subscribing. And with that being said, I will see you next time.